From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Thursday, November the 11th, 2021. And before we get into the show, of course, I want to recognize Remembrance Day to honor the extraordinary service of Canadian veterans, to never forget the sacrifices they made to protect our freedoms, the brave women and men who served and continue to serve our country. So thank you to everyone, all the veterans here now and in the past for letting us be able to celebrate a day like today and move forward in a free country that we live in. Coming up on today's show, we're going to hear from Coach Orlando Steinauer. We're going to hear from Dylan Wynn. I'm going to be joined by the offensive line coach, Mike Gibson, because there have been a lot of changes on the offensive line, and they just seem to be getting better and better every game. Building confidence despite a lot of different bodies in a lot of different places. So we will be talking to that about that with Coach Gibson coming up in just a little bit. Right now, let's take a look at the Ticats depth chart as released by the Ticats. And let's start with the offensive line because we've got a couple of changes as Jordan Murray is back. Yes, Jordan Murray back at left tackle. He was activated off the 6-game injured list on Monday, and he is good to go for this one. So he'll start at left tackle. Brandon Revenberg will make the start at left guard, but you already knew that, didn't you? His 13th straight start there. John Yarborough will be the center. Coulter Woodmansey is back at right guard, and Chris Van Zyl starting at right tackle. Jeremiah Masoli will handle the quarterback duties. At running back, Don Jackson is out. You may have picked up on Coach mentioning this yesterday, but Don Jackson was limited in practice throughout the week, and we now know that he is out. He will not go. He is on the 1-game injured list. So Sean Thomas-Arlington gets the start at running back, Nikola Kalinic at fullback. At receiver, out wide, you have Dunbar Jr. at the slot, Jalen Acklin, Brandon Banks, Tim White, slot field side, and David Ungwer III lining up wide at wide receiver. Taking a look at the defense, no changes to tell you about. Jagera Davis, Ted Laurent, Dylan Wynn, Julian Hauser up front. Simone Lawrence, Jovan Santos Knox, Cameron Kelly in the linebacking crew. And from left to right in the secondary, Desmond Lawrence, Cariel Brooks, Tunde Adeleke, Ciante Evans, Jamal Roll handling the secondary duties. And on special teams, Taylor Bertolette handling the kicking, Joel Whitford taking care of the punting. Gordon White is the long snapper, and Brandon Banks will return kicks. So that's how the Ticats will line up against the Argos tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. And by the way, speaking of the Argos, speaking of 7:30 p.m., yesterday on this show, I had mentioned that Go Transit was ending service at 10 p.m. That's not true anymore. Yes, we have gotten word from Metrolinx that they have secured a special train for fans that will be held at exhibition, and they got extra trains, and they're going to hold it out on construction until the game gets out. So some big news, Metrolinx. Shout out to Metrolinx for making this change, for accommodating Ticats fans who are making the trip on the GO train. So yes, you can take the GO train now because there will be trains after 10 p.m. that they will hold until the game ends. So exciting news if you didn't feel like driving to Toronto, and very, very exciting for people who, like me, like taking the GO train, maybe like to have a couple of pops as well at the game. But all right, let's hear from Coach Orlando Steinauer. Here's what he had to say after practice today.
We're on course. We're full speed ahead, and we were. It's disappointing that Don's not going to get a chance to stack on his 2 previous performances, but that's just what it is. They're going to kick the ball off anyway, and I'm excited for the 3 guys that we'll have back there this game. Yeah, 100% confidence. Like we attempted to change the ratio for the past 2 years for a reason, and it's because of the depth we have at running back. So that's not even an issue. We're going to proceed on. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be playing to win the same way we're going to be playing to win. And, you know, the buildup is great, but that's why you play the game. Like, they're on top of the division for a reason. You know, I've been impressed with their resiliency. They found a way to get it done in tight games. They've handled their business in games that they are probably supposed to handle. So that's why they're in the position they're in. Proud of our team. So that's just kind of the focus on them. But other than that, the focus has really been on our ball club. And, you know, I expect it to be a fun, outstanding, hard-hitting football game. That's and, you know, the buildup, like I always say, is great. It's a sports entertainment business, but the game will be decided between the white line. I think they've been consistent. And there's been weeks that they've ran the ball very effectively, and in times they didn't. They used the pass just as effectively as if it was a run. I think their run game is evolving, and I think that, you know, they're doing a good job. They've had some turnover on their offensive line, but I feel like they've done a good job of trying to establish the line of scrimmage. And then, you know, for the most part, they've been pretty efficient in their passing game. So, you know, we'll have our hands full, but I'm excited to see our response.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, obviously off the top, talking about Don Jackson, who is not available for the Ticats in this one. He's on the one-game injured list, but of course they have full confidence in Sean Thomas Erlington, Jackson Bennett, and Malik Irons. So something to watch for heading into to this one. You may have noticed on Twitter, tweeted out a picture of Dylan Wynn. Not only rocking the shades and the bucket hat, but also rocking a number 68 Angelo Mosca jersey. And after practice today, I asked him, why it was important for him to represent, to honor number 68 at walkthrough today. Here's what he had to say.
If you've seen the film, you know, Mosca embodies the city, you know, and it's a mentality that, you know, we always talk about standing on the shoulders of those who came before us and established, you know, our identity as a Ticat defense. And I can't think of anybody who bleeds more black and gold and really embodies Steeltown as much as Angelo Mosca. And it's a privilege and honor to be able to represent him and his legacy and, you know, try to do him justice and just play the best ball we can. Probably my favorite part of the CFL is just the history, the rich heritage. And you can go back and you can watch all the film that he put on and, you know, all the work that he did. And, you know, at the end of the day, he worked to be the best player that he could be. And he was, you know, mean Ticat player. And the plays might change, the strategies might change, but the attitude never changes. And that's something I can appreciate and I try to emulate on the field. Well, as a defensive line, we always view ourselves as the bottom of the pyramid. You know, you might not be what everyone looks at, but it's definitely what holds down the foundation. For our defense to be able to execute to the level that we expect, and we've made our standard, the defensive line, the front four, us definitely need to do our jobs to the best of our abilities. That includes assignment, alignment, you know, all that. But at the end of the day, it's all about executing. And so it's all about, you know, they got their big hogs up front. We got us, and it's whoever's going to come out and fight the best.
That is Dylan Wynn as he spoke after practice today, or after walkthrough today, is just a quick hour walkthrough for the Ticats. I did take to Twitter. You might have seen the picture of Wynn rocking the Mosca jersey, but I also took to Twitter because I want to know how you're feeling heading into tomorrow night's game. So a couple of you tweeted me back, try to get to them here. Greg says, I'm feeling very confident. The past 3 games we have shown great form, and I'm predicting we'll beat the Argos tomorrow by 10 points, and we will reclaim top spot in the East. We also got to do it for the great Angelo Mosca. I'm expecting us to be fired up, Oski. At Ray Greenwood, or at Greenwood Ray, says they need to play hard all 4 quarters, not fall asleep in the fourth quarter. At Roll DB1 says, can't lie, nervous to watch Masoli play against a good defense. He looked shaky at points against 3 of the weaker teams in the league. I don't know where he looked shaky. I don't know where you're going with this, Roll. How is the October Player of the Month? How did he look shaky? I don't get it, but all right. At Alex Jugloff, excuse me, he says he's feeling confident, Louis. His team is clicking right now on offense, and Masoli looks like the 2019 Masoli. Ooh, Don Jackson has played a huge factor. I did ask this before we saw the depth chart, but yes, Don Jackson has played a huge factor into this turnaround in the offense, but unavailable for the Ticats. One more at Tiger Sammy says, making the trip tomorrow, I feel great. The way we have played the last 3 games combined with some of the Argos' struggles the last couple of weeks could be a very tasty victory for the good guys. Eat 'em raw. And safe travels to my fellow road warriors. They add in here at Tiger Sammy. Also calling it now, Simone Lawrence will have a pick 6. So thanks for getting to me on Twitter. I'll respond to a couple more of you on Twitter directly, but always appreciate your interaction here with the show. All right, very pleased now to be joined by the offensive line coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That is Coach Mike Gibson. And Coach Gibson, I think everybody kind of expected the unexpected coming into 2021, hadn't played for a season, but I mean, I don't know if you could have even, worst case scenario, thought the amount of turnover changes you've had at the offensive line because of injuries. Just your thoughts on what you've seen so far this season on offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably an understatement. In all my times of coaching, I've probably never been through it either. I won't bore you with the numbers, but it's something like we've started 4 different, maybe the same guy, but at different times, 4 different right tackles, 5 different right guards, 3 centers. The only consistent's been our left guard, which has been Rev, thank God, and then 5 guys at left tackle. So there's been a lot of mixing and matching and in and outs and everything, but that's part of the game, I guess.
I mean, it's part of the game, but again, you mentioned it, Revenberg, the only consistent on that line, but you've had guys step up and you talked about, I remember I was watching an interview you and I did going into the season, was that it was all about being ready when you were called upon. What does it mean to see guys, especially Americans, come up here, be ready to step in, like we've seen Travis or John or Jordan be able to kind of represent what that next man up mentality means?
Without a doubt, I mean, those guys have done a great job. I mean, the offensive line, probably more than any position, Louis, is a group of cohesiveness. As far as, you just have to feel the right tackle has to feel like he knows what the right guard's going to do. The right guard's got to feel like he knows what the center's got to do. And it just transcends down the line. So for those guys to come up here, and they've worked extremely hard, they're one of the hardest working groups I've been around. They're a great group in the classroom. They're a good group that gets along with each other, and they try to help one another. And, it is the next man up. I mean, our room is really kind of small when you look at it as far as numbers. I mean, we start 5 positions, and we've got 8, maybe 9 guys, and they're all not healthy. And so it's a group where they look around, they know there's nobody else, and when it's their turn, they're going to do the best they can do. And for that, I applaud them. And I feel like that, we've gotten better. I feel like we're probably playing as good as we played all year in the last 2 to 3, maybe even 4 games. And so that's a credit to them. They're extremely hard workers. They study hard and everything, but I think it's been trying for them as well because, like I said, I mean, Rev one week has one guy to his right, another guy to his left, and then the very next week he has 2 entirely different guys. Yeah. So it's hard, and they're young. The guards, the right guard has had a young guy next to him at tackle for 4 or 5 games, and it's been a different young guy, and then all of a sudden he has a veteran like Van Zyl. I mean, getting Chris back obviously helps us. It gives us some stability. It gives us, I think, a calming influence, a presence out there that, no matter how things go, hey, you move on to the next play. And that's easy for a guy who started 170 games like Van Zyl, but it's a little difficult for Coulter, who started 4 games and who, 2 years ago was in university and last year didn't play. And so, it's a different experience for all of them. It'll make them better in the long run. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Coulter Woodmansey has probably, I'm going to age myself, but I've coached for a lot of years, okay, in a lot of different places with a lot of different people, a lot of different teams. Coulter Woodmansey has probably, I don't want to say improved is not the word, but has fitted himself in as fast as any guy I've ever seen, and his future is just limitless. I mean, if he's got great work ethic for number one. He's a talented kid for number two. He wants to be good for number three. So his ceiling is just limitless. And as long as he stays hungry, he's going to be, I don't know, pick a guy who's played in this league a long time. Pick Van Zyl, who's had all the success he has. Coulter will be at a different position, but I mean, it'll be the same kind of career if he can stay healthy.
Chris had mentioned it earlier when we were talking to him about lining up alongside Coulter, and he says it's like seeing the game through his eyes, like a rookie, and he's kind of gotten this new appreciation for what he does. That being said, Chris was around a lot during his injury while he was on the 6-game injury. What did that mean to see, a 14-year vet who handing out water at practice to kind of echo what you're saying to maybe some of the younger players? Like, how important was it to have Chris around this team?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Chris Van Zyl, number one, is a great person. Okay. I mean, he is going to be successful and would be successful in whatever he does. He's got, people say a lot of times people say, well, he's got it. And it's hard to explain. What is it? You just know it when you see it. And that's Chris Van Zyl. He's deeply committed. He cares. He wants the best for everybody. And there's not a lot of people who are like that, And so to see him with the water and to see him doing the things he does, it shouldn't surprise anybody because that's who he is. And it definitely was good for the younger guys because they see how hard he worked to get back, number one. The injuries he went through. I mean, he was injured at the start. He came back for a half. Then he got injured again, and he was out for 4 or 5 more weeks. But he never said, okay, well, that's it. This year's a wash for me. I mean, he always said, I'm going to make it back when it counts, and he's done that. And without a doubt, I mean, I know so, not only for the offensive line, but I think for the whole entire offense, and I think for the entire team. I mean, he's that well-respected and well-liked.
Just back to the Americans, because it is a jump, right? With the 1 yard off the ball, the waggle. Can you kind of put into perspective how impressive it is to see, Jordan kind of step up from coming in late, Travis stepping in late to be able to, and even John Yarbrough moving into center, a position where there hasn't been a lot of movement for the Ticats in the last 10, 15 years, right? I mean, it went Hage to Diakowski to Filer. I mean, how impressive is that? What those three particular have been able to do, making
those are good kids. I mean, they obviously had talent. They went to good places and played in their college career and so forth, and they just needed a chance. They played two of them played in the spring league. So they had played some football recently, which helped them without a doubt. It wasn't like they sat around for a year without playing football. So I think that helped them. And I think, we're pretty good on defense here. And they had to go against good people every week. Even when they weren't playing, when they were running the look teams and things like that, they prepared because they had to go against good guys. And they learned, and again, I just go back to the thing about it's a good group. They study, they want to be good, they watch film and things like that. So it is an impressive thing, but again, it's a thing that it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen that Yarbrough can start at guard and then start at center. That Travis can miss camp for family reasons, come up here, quarantine, and then just kind of bide his time. And then all of a sudden, due to injuries, he's in and he's playing. And so I give him a lot of credit for their preparation and for their work when no one's looking. We say in the quiet times, it's easy. And I don't that's a bad word. it's expected of them to be here 4.5 hours. They're a professional. That's what the Players Association it will allow you to do, but they put in extra, and so they prepared themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, when there are a lot of sacks and when the running game can't go on, usually takes the hit, but you don't get the praise you often deserve. So, Coach, congratulations on what you've been able to do with this offensive line. I know you're not done yet. You got a couple more tall tasks ahead of you, but it's definitely been impressive. Thanks for doing this. It's great to catch up.
Great seeing you, Louie. And again, we've got, we're excited to play this week. We're excited what the future holds for us. And as we say, we just got to move on to the next snap. I mean, you're right. It's a journey, and as I tell them all the time, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we're just keeping on going, and we'll be fine. And hopefully we can continue to improve, because that's what it's all about. And if we do that, I feel really good about our chances.
Well, you got a tall task against a good Toronto defense. Best of luck tomorrow night, Coach.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Louie. Appreciate it. You have a great day.
My thanks to Coach Gibson for joining me today. And my thanks to you for tuning in. Always do appreciate it. Tomorrow, no show, no Ticats today, but don't worry, because we will get you set, as we'll have a Tiger Cats game day with Bubba O'Neill and Courtney Stephen. They'll be dropping in the Ticats audio network sometime in the morning, pre-9 a.m., actually. So you'll have it ready to go for your, whether you're taking the GO train in or whether you want to listen to it at work. And then make sure to join Courtney and I at 6:30 when we get set for him. Ticats pregame presented by Active Green and Ross. And then we'll hand it over to RJ and Luke with the call at 7:30. So a big game tomorrow. Hope you'll join us right here on the Ticats audio network. Thanks for checking us out today. Have yourself a fantastic Thursday for the Ticats audio network. I'm Louie B. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today with Louie B. Subscribe, like, and get your Ticats fix every weekday.